Hey, what's up, lightboltjoe here. Today we are going to discuss the 2022 Universal/Amblin original sequel film, Jurassic World Dominion. So this is the 6th film in the franchise. This is a continuation. And the thing is a lot of people forget that Camp Cretaceous exists, and it's annoying because that's a show. That's a big show on Netflix. That has, what, 4 or 5 seasons or something like that? It's big. And to have the character of Lewis Dodson as the CEO, creative director of Biosyn as the main villain company in this film, people forget that he was first introduced in 93's Jurassic World. He's the character, Lewis Dodson, who gives Dennis Nedry the can of Barbasol shaving cream where he can store the embryos of the dinosaurs on Jurassic Park, which was an Indian creation. So, I mean, Dennis Nedry literally goes, Dodson, we got Dodson here, see? Nobody cares in regards to a little, food eatery in Costa Rica. Years go by, obviously the Barbasol can is lost, and a massive plot point, which people don't even know unless you watch the TV show, is that Lewis Dodson goes to the 3rd island, the Manticore Island, within Camp Cretaceous. So you have Isla Nublar, you have Isla Sorna, and then there's a 3rd island where there's other stuff going on. This one in particular is run by Manticore. Kenji's dad is the president of Manticore. But then there's Biosyn reps. Lewis Dodson is one of them in an animated form going. And then there's chaos and stuff. And he actually finds the lost can of Barbasol on Nublar because they have to go back to Nublar to get some other dinosaurs prior to the island exploding. Now, going now to this film, 2022, Lewis Dodson is played by a 3rd person. So we have the original actor, we have the voice actor in the CGI Camp Cretaceous, and then we have now this new actor, who's not new, he's been around for decades, but I've never personally seen him. I don't think I've personally seen him. So with following that trail, InGen, Maserati Corp, Manticorp, and Biosyn are the 4 main genetic companies dealing with dino DNA, right? So a lot of people don't know that, and I think that's why a lot of people didn't like this film. This film is great in the sense of explaining certain things, and Dr. Ellie Sattler and Dr. Alan Grant team up to go figure out why there's gigantic locusts now just decimating crops, and it was actually another Henry Wu experiment, Dr. Henry Wu experiment, because Henry Wu's been passed along to the different genetic companies, so now that he's working with Biosyn, he created these locusts he explained why, and I couldn't catch it because it was so quick, but then, he's like, I need Maisie, I need, Blue's daughter, Beta, because she reproduced asexually, and Maisie technically is just a clone of her mother, but still was carried in her mom's womb, so they have genetic properties that would be beneficial to engineering a means of defeating these locusts. So it's more of a eco-friendly, hey, let's defeat this behind the scenes, because Biosyn is still trying to use it as warfare in the sense of let's control all the crops, because the locusts are not touching the Biosyn crops, they're touching non-Biosyn crops stuff. So it's interesting because it's more an eco-war film meets Fast and Furious than it is about dinosaurs. You have random dinosaur fights here and there, like Theresa Mimus is fighting Gigantosaurus, which is Gigantosaurus. It's mispronounced constantly, and I myself can't pronounce it. But that was interesting battles, the T-Rex battles and stuff. Baryonyx was there for a bit. You had who else? You had a bunch of dinosaurs in this. And I loved the animatronics of it. I love that there was the black market stuff going on. I liked all these other things that were happening around the world, and everything was glossed over so quickly that we have the main character stories. You have Bryce Dallas Howard's character of Claire. You have Chris Pratt's character of Owen trying to make sure Maisie is safe. They're all living in, Alaska or something like that, hiding out. Blue and Beta are, nearby. And then Beta's captured, Maisie's captured. So now it's a matter of trying to find them. Owen telling Blue he's going to get her baby back, which is adorable, mind you. But then while that's going on, Jeff Goldblum has been working/lecturing at Biosyn. His character of Dr. Ian Malcolm has been lecturing at Biosyn. And then different stuff, right? Different stuff. So then everybody eventually meets up. The old cast with the new cast meets up. And it's a nice, melding of two worlds. It's a requel, the reboot sequel that we've all been, anticipating. Certain lines were reproduced from '93 film, certain things. Fine. It's fine. It's nostalgia purpose. It hits for the fans. That was the intent for it. Then getting to uncovering the truth about Biosyn and realizing all these things, Dodgson being eaten by, who ate him? Who's the frilly dinosaur whose name I can never remember? It's the one who attacked Ned. And that's why it was poetic justice of the full circle. And then that's how the Barbasol can was let go. And then he finds the Barbasol can, and then he is attacked as well. I can't remember the names at this time. I'm a terrible dinosaur fan. It happens. So with the wrapping it up at the end, getting Maisie back, getting the genes that is needed to defeat the locusts, and, Wu sends out an engineered locust to defeat all the other locusts, and the new sanctuary of dinosaurs in Italy is pronounced no human can touch it. That's where they're going to be, right? So, it's fine. It's a fine wrap-up. It's a matter of we can't get rid of these creatures because they're just going to reproduce anyway, so we have to learn to live with them somehow. And then that was the point of, the hearings that we don't actually get to see at the end and stuff. So it's a quick wrap-up, and it makes sense of having the original 93 film all the way 29 years later to the 2022 film, getting the man has to live with dinosaurs because there's no means of trying to get rid of them because they're always going to be there, right? Whether you try to exterminate or not, they're always going to find a way. Life finds a way. That's literally the point that we get from 93. So it was an interesting wrap-up. It was 2 hours and something long, 2 hours, 20-something minutes long. My issues were the character of Zia and Franklin were in the beginning of the film, maybe the first 5 minutes, and that was it. I love Jesse Smollett as, not Jesse Smollett, Jesse, what's his last name? I can't remember his last name. But he plays an incredible Franklin, and the girl who plays Zia is an incredible actress, and does their characters disservice because they were very great roles in the second film, Fallen Kingdom, to have them only quickly in the beginning and then that was it. And it was, I like that Dodgson was the main villain, quote unquote, that Biosyn took the reins now of the leading genetic because Manticore had the trials because of Camp Cretaceous. But that's the other thing, though, is you had to watch Camp Cretaceous to understand why certain things made so much sense in this film. And I think that's why this didn't do so well within ratings, because a lot of people were like, well, how does this make sense? But it does make sense because it's explained in the show. It's explained. You have 4 different genetic companies. You have InGen, you have Mizrahi, you have Manticore, you have Biosyn. But, unless you watch the show, it don't really grasp the whole concept. And with that being said, this film could have been an 8-episode miniseries. It could have been expanded upon because certain plot points were wrapped up super quick. And I was like, yeah, but there's more to the story that is being glossed over. I don't know. I feel like I was spoiled. I feel like we were spoiled, those of us who watch Camp Cretaceous, because Camp Cretaceous is an astounding show. I feel like we were spoiled with Camp Cretaceous with the storyboarding because it takes place within a 6-month time period between the fall of Jurassic World in 2015 to the island exploding, and then we flash forward to the Lockwood Mansion mishap stuff, which was 2018. So there's a 3-year time jump after the 6-month time gap. So 2015, 6 months later, jumped to 2018, and then now we jump to 2022. So there's the timeline within that, but those characters in Camp Cretaceous do an amazing job, and I'm curious, what were they doing during all of this? What have they been up to, since the fall of the Lockwood estate? What have they been doing within the dino world? I mean, Darius and Kenji are now brothers, so, what have they been up to? What has Brooklyn been up to, with all her social media influence? What has Yaz and what's her name? I can't remember her name. And then Sean Jimbro's character, what's Bumpy been up to? There's so many things I want to know, but this was 4 years later. Of course, you could do other side projects within what happened between 2018 and 2022 with those characters. I would kill for live action versions of those characters. That would be so cool. You could do a whole trilogy just with that. I don't know, man. I feel like this film was good. I really liked it. I just wish there was more because of everything we've been given with the Camp Cretaceous canon. And the Camp Cretaceous canon is in the Jurassic canon. So you can't disclose Camp Cretaceous because it's a cartoon, because that's canon. Like the Fast and Furious cartoon is canon. The Clone Wars series, the Bad Batch series, the Rebels series, they're all canon within the Star Wars universe. Doesn't matter if it's CGI, it's all one story. So I need more plot points explained further, because it was just too quick of a, we went from A to B in 0.1 second, and I need more story. I like this film a lot. I would love it if it was a miniseries, and I want to know what happens with all the other characters. So yeah, interesting. Makes you think. Makes you think. I'm very curious. Very curious. Well, keep up that curiosity. On to the next review. Mahalo.